such an asshole.
Many thanks to the power of the interwebs and independent minded people who speak truth and say, fuck you, old people. A lot of younger people are aware. I don't know, with national debt and inflation, I probably won't even need the internet to get the young kids to realize the adults don't know what they're doing. A lot of young people are aware that the older people in the generations before you really don't know jack shit. I don't think there's ever been a point in the history of the world where the adults were so wrong. Not that the kids were right. The kids, they don't know right from wrong. But I've never seen it where the adults, the elders, the elders of the village could not be more wrong about everything, most things. And so a lot of younger gals now, it seems, is just I spy with my little economist eye. I sense I have I sense a minor disturbance in the force where young ladies are saying, I don't want to be a poor, miserable, feminist spinster bitch. I don't know. Hillary Clinton looks miserable to me. And there's it starts you can starts to crack. You start to get a little peer behind the curtain. Oh, there's some gals we don't know what our greatest statisticians and scientists at the lab estimate it's more than 1%. Some of you may deep down inside actually want to be the stay-at-home wife, the stay-at-home mom, where the husband goes out and makes the you want June Cleaver. Now, as you may have noticed, the dipshit elders, not the wise elders, the dipshit elders, they come crashing down on you. You can't do that. How dare you express what you really want? You're supposed to go out and work and pay taxes and go to school and get into debt and get master's degree and live downtown New York or relive Sex in the City and then come out crippled financially at 63 and then be like a modern day boomer woman. I don't have enough money. The stock market went down by 10%. I need more of young people's money. Maybe young women are saying, you know what? I want Ward Cleaver. You want Ward Cleaver? You want the strong, stable man who's good looking, who takes care of kind of everything, and all you got to do is be the hot. This is really going to piss off you. I apologize to every American woman over the age of 35 for what I'm about to say, but these young women might want to raise their kids. Oh my God. And look, young ladies, I don't know how long it's going to be until they murder you all. They're going to send out their assassination hit teams. You can't want to raise your kids. You can't want to spend time with your kids. You're supposed to drop them off at daycare. Have some complete rando woman raise the kids for you. And thankfully, once you get to kindergarten, then you drop the. Oh, thank God school starts. I never really want to raise my kids anyway. That's the official tack you got to take. That's the official stance. I never really loved my children. I want to outsource them to a rando babysitter daycare operator and then drop them off at school. I say it's time for a change. I sense that maybe some of the younger women, before they're fully corrupted by the hate-filled, miserable, 36-plus-year-olds in America, I think some of these gals, just hear me out on this. I know it's crazy. Some of them want to maybe raise their own children and have a loving family. They might even like men too. I know. So if you did really want the stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home lifestyle, I'm here to help you. Despite my gray hair and my beard, I'm going to help you young ladies on how the most direct way to become a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mom, whether you want to have kids or not. And this I'm actually being serious about. You can have it. You can have this. Now, of course, you're going to have to attract a man. That's a different discussion, but let's focus on what's under your control and the measures you could take to being a stay-at-home mom if that is the life you want. Okay. First, do not have other people's kids. There's going to be a lot of do not on this list. Don't do this. Don't do that. There's going to be more do not than do. Okay. But if you are going to be a single mom, You don't get to be a stay-at-home mom. Certainly not with the guy and the quality and the caliber of the guy's going to take care of it and da. All right. The average guy is not going to want someone's kid that isn't his. Okay. So I don't care what the 36 plus year old women in America say. I don't care what the news television. The man you want, the man of your dreams, will not take a single mom. Right? There's a man who will take you, but you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to kick in. There's gonna be some stress. It's not gonna be a peaceful home life. So do not bring other men's children, quote, to the table. Why is it doing that? Number 2, do not have debt for stupid degrees. I just saw an eye doctor. She was a very attractive woman. She has a doctorate degree in ophthalmology, I guess, optometry, whatever it is. That's okay to have debt for that. That's okay to have debt for an accounting degree. It's okay to have debt for trade school. You walk in with 30,000 or more for your whatever, completely worthless, unemployable degree, journalism, women's studies, whatever. No, out. And the reason why is you are a financial liability, right? You want to be stay at home, right? It's not that you don't want to work. We're going to get to that because there are obligations, but you make it much more difficult being a financial liability where not only you have the debt from a worthless degree, that worthless degree is not going to improve your chances of getting a job. So you couldn't even get worked out. So now the husband's got to work extra to pay off your student loans, which delays the point in time that you may or may not want to have children or buy yourself a house. Right? Do not have any other debt. Okay. See, for a family to live on one income, you can't come in with a shit ton of debt that all that work and labor now has to go to pay off and not start your family. You're going to need a house, right? You're going to need at least 2 cars, reliable. And you come in with $50,000 for credit card debt or Lord knows whatever else for worthless shit, right? Your clothes, your partying, your travel. No, that's just going to delay it. So whether it's a student loan or any other kind of debt, not being a financial liability right off the bat is going to put you way ahead of all the other women in terms of competing for that guy that you want. Because if you're all equally good looking and you don't have debt, and you might even have like an accounting degree, he's going to look at Tiddly McWinks with $60,000 in her master's in political science. He's going to be, not with, I'm going to go with the gal that doesn't have debt and has an employable career. Now, this is a hard one. This is a hard one, ladies, okay? Find a man with a good job, not a drug dealer or a dude bro party bro. I know. Imagine that. If you want to be a stay-at-home wife or mother, at home means there's a home, which means the person you're going to marry has their financial shit together that they can afford a home. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean drug deal, unless they're really good drug dealers, right? And you got to worry about crime and hits and the feds always around the corner. But the fun guys who bring the drugs to the that's not the guy you marry. The dude bros, this is the harder one. Oh, but he's in banking and he said he made 300 million last year. No, he made 300 million in sales. His commission of which that he actually gets to take home is $43,000. And trust me, I worked in banking. Your finance dude bros, at least half are pushing criminal charges. And damn near 85% of them, fine, they might make a handsome salary. They piss it all away. They piss it all away. They do not actually have savings. They do not actually have assets. I'll give you another perfect example, ladies. You want a guy who's whatever, got a boat, a fancy car, somehow displays that he's wealthy. If he's displaying that he's wealthy, it's a irony or a paradox or a contradiction. He's not wealthy. He spent all of his money on a boat. He spent all of his money on cars. See, you want to look for the guy, and they won't tell you. But the guy who didn't spend $200,000 on a boat has it in the bank account. He doesn't have the boat. So when you see guys with a lot of fancy things, you see guys who are good at spending money, not saving it and actually being rich. So the best way to do that, ladies, is I know it's so boring. You want to find an accountant. You want to find an engineer. You do want to find a doctor. That's kind of an obvious one. Lawyers, not so much. A lot of lawyers have debts. You want to find a tradesman? I know. Those plumbers who make $300 an hour. I mean, it's so, you can't brag to Becky and Tiffany at the coffee parties. I know. Yeah, the guys who bill out at 150, it'd surprise you. Linemen, chimney sweepers. Not, I'm a finance sales, but I'm in fintech, bro. Like the Patagonia vest and they got their little coffee. Yeah, those guys don't got a penny to their name. The guy who pulls up in the used banged up truck who just, whatever, I don't know, did an HVAC system. There's your guy. That's the guy. Buy a sensible house. You do not need a McMansion in the suburbs. You need a place that is clean, safe, and warm, and protects you from the elements. Plus, a bigger house is going to take more to clean and maintain, more repairs. So you need to get a sensible house, not a super big brag to your frenemies McMansion in the suburbs house. You need a sensible house because then you can live on one income. Your children, if you have children, multiple, they will share rooms. They will share. Not every kid gets their own room. No. Not every person over 16 gets a car. No. Children will share rooms. And you will buy 2 used yet reliable cars. They don't have to be fancy. Ideally, they'd almost be from a salvage yard with low miles, like a good engine and all that with some hail damage. That's what you want. See, because in dropping the $5,000 on a hail damaged car with 50,000 miles on it, that allows you to live on one income instead of, I got to get the newest Lyriq. Oh, I saw a Lyriq, the Cadillac Lyriq for women with mosquito bite tits and men with extra small penises. It's an SUV. It's a luxury SUV, but it's electric. Congratulations, you got a Lyriq. You don't have any children. You and you get to work. And you get to pay for daycare. But you got a Lyriq. You will have to budget the money. Now, maybe not you individually become the accountant of the house. So that is one thing that a traditional housewife used to do. But you and your husband are going to have to sit down and say, okay, our goal is I take care of the house, division of labor. I'm gonna take care of the house. You take care of the outside. You go out there and bring home the bacon. Break. Like you're a team, right? And you're going to have to look at the money and spend less than you make. That's how it is. You cannot be going into debt. Now, when you budget, you could find deals a lot. This isn't a joke. Back in the day, women were in charge of the budget, and they stretch $1. That's what they did. They increased the standard of living. So they'd find they cut coupons, they'd shop, and that's all hard. That's work. At least I don't like shopping, but okay. Hey, meat's going on sale over at Fry's. I'm going to go over to Fry's and get the meat on sale. I'm going to buy and I'm going to budget. I'm going to stretch out our meals. Ooh, there's some clothes on sale over here at Goodwill. So you have a budget. You adhere to it and you stretch $1. Meanwhile, the guy's out. Maybe you make your husband a lunch and he goes away so he can save money and not have to go to Chipotle or whatever. You make coffee at home so he doesn't have the coffee at the Starbucks. That's what I mean by budget. Also, you will make food at home. I know the miserable, pissed off, poverty stricken women of America, 36 and older, are all poor, in debt, miserable, and angry. And I know that is like the worst thing you can do is dare to be in the kitchen and making food for your family. However, that is not degrading. It is a critical financial aspect of family, not just being a stay-at-home wife or mom. It's of the family. It's a critical fact because food is expensive. And instead of going out to eat all the time, you make the food for everybody because I don't know, eating's kind of important to people, right? That you got to okay, and bonus points for being a good cook because it motivates people. You'll be happier with better food, right? Learn to be a good cook. It's not just get in there and make me a sandwich. It's kind of like fuel for the car is important. Fuel for the humans is important. You got good fuel, then you're going to have better humans. So you're going to have to make the food at home. Shop at Goodwill. I know the poor boomer people who made it you must have brand name clothes in the 80s, 90s, and henceforth. I know you need your Pravda. You need a handbag, and you need Gucci, and you need other mosquito tit fashion brand names. All right. No, you don't. You go to Goodwill and you get your clothes there for your family. And then good old Justin Waller, pick on him as you might because he's a redhead. Justin Waller, I think he gets his clothes at cheap places like Goodwill and all that, and he looks like $1 million. You know why? Because Justin Waller is in fantastic shape. The little logo on the shirt doesn't hide your gut. So if you and your family are in shape, that's a different discussion. The clothes are going to look good on you, so you don't need to drop a lot of money on clothes. I get all my clothes at Goodwill. Sometimes not the Salvation Army, what is it? The Savers. Sometimes I go to Savers. I don't spend. I probably don't spend more than $50 a year on clothes. Now, admittedly, the girlfriend like, I think this shirt would look nice on you. I'm like, okay, it's your money. You do whatever you want with it. But me personally, I don't spend any money on clothes or barely any. Now, this is going to be, like I said before, this is really going to piss off all American women over 36. Raise your kids. Do not drop them off at daycare. Daycare costs a lot of money, right? So instead of going and working some shit piss second job or a part-time job, and it depends right now, you may not know this. If you want, look it up. You don't have to believe me. Anywhere between 30 and 50% of working moms would be better off if they just stayed home and raised their kids. If you factored in taxes and labor and all that and the cost of daycare is expensive. A third to half of you working moms are wasting your time. You could have raised your kids. Oh, that's right. You don't like your kids. That's why you outsource them. You just want to have them. I forgot your true motives. Never mind. I rescind my critique, 30 to 50% of American women. But for you younger gals who actually want to hug your children and raise them and be there for them to watch them grow up and spend time with them, raise your kids. Not all fun and puppies. You got to discipline them and spank them and all that. But it's better you than some random person subsidized by the government making her $12 an hour. So daycare, that will save, especially if you got multiple kids. Well, yeah. It's kind of, and then there's, just so you know, there's kind of like an economies to scale, because once you have one kid, then the cost per kid goes down because you're not paying daycare for 3 kids. You're paying for, you're just watching over them yourself. Let's go back to the guys real quick. The guys that you choose a guy who can fix things. No Democrats, no limp-wristed, no David Hogues, no Larry Sissons. I'm not saying they got to be card-carrying Republicans, but men who have tools, men who can fix a car, men who can fix a house. You know why? Because those expenses are expensive. Repairs, whether it's home or car or computer, they're expensive. But back in the day, Ward Cleaver had tools. See, now I know you're so wet over the drug dealing acoustic guitar playing dude, bro. The only instrument he has is a PlayStation 5 and his acoustic guitar. That's not what you want. Okay? You want to look at the guy, say, I mean, no joke, a great question on a first date would be asked, like, so what kind of tools you got? The guy be like, what do you mean what kind of tools? Like, do you have tools to fix cars and houses? Do you have a radial saw? Do you have a socket wrench set? What's your tool collection like? And if he says, I have my acoustic guitar and my Nintendo Switch too, that's not the guy. That guy can't fix things. So you want to find a guy who can fix things, which means probably, you know who's got a lot of tools? Tradesmen. They got a lot of tools. You know what else they got? They got buddies in other fields. So while your husband fixes the plumbing, his electrician buddy can fix the electricity in the house. Oh, and that saves you money. And then you don't have to commute and go to work. And you just stay home and raise the kids. Oh my God. It's almost like the maths at the end. Another thing. This will increase the quality of the man you find. Learn to fix things yourself. Now, some of these things, for example, you're probably not going to want to put in a retaining wall. It's going to require brute strength. But you can do certainly computer repairs. I think all you gals can do computer repairs because it doesn't require brute strength. But you get the right tools and all. You can wrench on cars. You can put down some tile. You can wire a house. And if you're looking for a field to get into, that would be of tremendous value to a household, as well as provide you employment opportunity after you raise the kids. The trades ain't the worst. I mean, you gals can go in and I'm trying to, like, pouring concrete. Concrete may not be one women can go into, but wiring, HVAC, carpentry, you won't have to go to the gym. That's for certain. If you're framing a house, roofing, most of the trades you gals could do. Maybe not pipe fitting on an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico during a storm, but you could fix a car. You really could. And so why not you have some tools? That would save you money. Then if you get the kids, see, kids make great slave labor. They really do. Once they get to about, 8 or 9, like, hey, you can do things. Help mom replace the alternator, son. So you might want to consider that. Then you have to maintain the house. I'm not joking. You could probably go back 50 years ago and go get articles from like Good Housekeeping. I mean, housekeeping was a profession. The house doesn't take care of itself. What can you do? I'm not even talking aesthetics. Like a good cleaner. How do you get calcium off of the faucets? I think a lot. I know this would start to get into the realm of landscaping or external housework, but keeping water out of the house, maintaining a home, aside from basic cleaning and all that. No, it's a real job. There's a lot that goes into it. So maintaining the physical house, yes, you have to vacuum. Yes, you have to clean. But while the husband out doing his job, you're out doing your job. He gets back. The house is spotless. Everyone's calm. And the house is a place of rest, peace, fun, joy, love, and relaxation. Not, why did you take out the garbage? You should have taken the garbage out so by the time you guys can spend time with each other. That's the whole point of being, quote, a housekeeper. So that's kind of the boring tedium part of this. And then you're also going to do the shopping. I think I alluded to that before. Guy don't have time to shop. He's working. Run out, grab the shoes for the kids, be efficient about it, be very expeditious. More modernly, I'd say order stuff from Amazon. Save you the time, right? So you ain't got time to go do all the shopping. You gotta replace the timing belt or whatever. So you do that, and you, with the savings of not having to pay a mechanic, you order stuff in from Amazon. I think that would definitely help out being the housewife or the house husband. So we got the shopping. Oh, and this is something people don't think about. I said before, ladies did the budgeting and all that, but also the legal and financial aspects. and guys, you're going to have to trust the girl on this one. So this is a very big if. But women generally were in charge of the finances. Like, okay, did you contribute to your 401k? Did we pay the bills? Did we pay the insurance? Other things. Do we have an estate plan? Do we have a will? Do we have a living will that in case we die in an accident, the kids are taken care of? Do we have life insurance? The back office, white collar kind of paperwork that comes with running a household and having a family, that's got to get done too. And what percent of American families have that? Most American families, like the paperwork is the divorce filings and who we're going to fight custody over the kids for. That's the paperwork. But there's a lot of legal, okay, did we pay the property taxes? You're running a house. It is running a business, or at least maintaining an asset or a household. So there's a lot of blue collar and white collar work that goes into it. And traditionally, ladies would take care of that. And then me and Adam Piggott disagree on this. The average young woman today is not going to get married at 19 or 18. You girls are going to get more married if you wanted to 24 or later. And different people will say, well, women should be getting married at 18, 19 and spitting out kids because then the kids will be healthiest. And the younger the gals have kids, the healthier the kids. And then the sooner the kids get out, and then the sooner a woman could start a career if she'd like to. And they're not wrong on the math, but culturally, I don't think, I think girls should get out of the house a little bit and work and live. So you're going to have some kind of career. And I would strongly recommend you read my book, Worthless, The Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major, to make sure you do not become a liability, thereby crippling, if not fully eliminating your chances of finding a quality man that you'd like to marry who could take care of you. But you're going to have to do something from 18 to 24, let's just say. Nothing wrong with good school. Please major in the right thing, accounting, STEM, the trades, or is it just boring? What if you just stayed at home and worked 2 jobs? I've done the math before. If the average 18-year-old just stays at home and works 2 full-time jobs, which is taxing, which is hard, but you save money on rent, all of a sudden you're not Bipsy Magoo with her master's degree in political science with $80,000 in debt and an attitude with no employable skills. You are regular Susie Q, and you've saved your money. And if you do the math and S&P 500 and all that, you're looking at anywhere between $150,000 to $200,000 in cash. I will tell you right now, the high quality men, when they look at a woman who has $80,000 in debt, but with an unemployable master's degree, and then there's a girl without any education, but you got $200,000 of her own money, he's like, yeah, I'll take that one. And they ain't even talking about because they're going after you for your money, though there are some scumbags who will. Is that you're not a financial liability. Good Lord, 200,000, you can make a very nice down payment on a house with that. So as long as you do not become a liability in that 18 to 24, you actually get a good skill or a trade so that you could do some kind of work. And there's going to be a honeymoon period, right? You and your husband, you don't have kids, maybe a couple of years. So yeah, you're going to want to have a job or a skill, and that's fine. But once the kids are off to school, right? You drop them off at kindergarten. If you really love your kids, you'd homeschool them, but that's a different discussion. Well, let's say the kids are off to school. Well, yeah, a little bit of free time now. Now, maybe you go back into the field, the work field. Or if for whatever reason you didn't have a skill or a trade, you didn't go to school, that'd be a good time to go to school online. I personally recommend accounting because accounting is not physically demanding. You can learn it online. You can get an accredited college degree with it online. You don't have to. You can even do it while the kids are there. Like the dad comes by, takes care of the kids, and they're off doing something, whatever. And maybe you could take a class or 2 online through Western Governors University slowly. You can't just watch the kids all day. But somewhere in there, arguably maybe still in your 20s, early 30s. All right. Kids are kind of, you could trust them for 2 hours not to burn down the house. Well, mom's got a little bit of free time, and either because of training and education you had before, or maybe you want to get some education and training now. Online, you could at minimum knock out your prereqs. And then all of a sudden the kids are off to school full time. The littlest one is in the first grade, and boom, here you are, 31, 32, younger than the miserable 36-year-old plus spinsters who are poor and have no money. And all of a sudden, and I recommend accounting or the realm of computer programming, but accounting because you could do it from home. It's one of the most flexible professions that allow you remote work and self-employment. You may have to do a stint working for an actual CPA firm or get some kind of, you have to be employed by someone else to get experience, and that's okay. But you could start very part-time. All of a sudden, kids are off to whatever. Once the oldest kid gets his driver's license or her driver's license, bam, that's it. Hey, you take care of all your little brat-nosed siblings. Mommy's going to go become a CPA. You set up your CPA practice. You start doing taxes. All of a sudden, I don't even think you're 35 or 40. You're making six figures. You got no college debt. House might even be paid off by this time. And let's compare and contrast. You're now 40. Let's be very realistic. 40. The eldest is taking the kids, all driving them around because he's got his driver's license. Your husband, senior fizzy widget at XYZ Corporation, all right? You've made some significant progress on your mortgage. You've taken some courses and you got yourself an accounting degree. Now you can work remotely. You got some contract work. You get your CPA. All of a sudden, now you got yourself an accountancy or a computer programming job. Or maybe you're a tradeswoman. I'm going to start wrenching on these. I'm going to go fix up that home and charge $170 an hour. Are you a miserable feminist, spinster, angry, intended 38-year-old blaming the patriarchy? No. You're a woman who's making good money. You got a house. You have a loving family. You got to take care of your kids. Your kids are probably growing up straight and right because you were there for them. The kids may be out of the house. You and your husband get back to fucking on the kitchen table. And oh my God, I think you might be happier than nearly every woman in America over the age of 36 right now. And that's how you become a stay-at-home mom. Link below, I have some resources. One, Bachelor Pad Economics. All right. The reason you say, well, I'm not a bachelor. I know you're right, but it's a financial advice Bible for men and women who are bold enough to read it. It basically goes through all the major and minor financial decisions you're going to make from the age of 14 to death. So if you go through that and you make these decisions, at minimum, your personal finances are going to be tight. They're going to be good. All right. Whether there's a guy in your life or not, you're going to have good finances, and that's just going to make your life a lot easier. Also linked below is a course called Achieving Financial Excellence. I know the miserable old boomers and Gen Xers of America, all the gray hairs, are telling you the most important thing in life is to have flirtinis and mimosas with a $3,000 a month flat in New York City with a luxury SUV, a Lyriq, and a girl boss degree and student loan debt and all that other stuff. That is not the point and purpose of life. That is just a way to be financially crippled for the rest of your life and be miserable. So instead of pissing away your money on that, you need to find out what's more important in life and what should I spend my money on? What should my priorities be? And that course, Achieving Financial Excellence, goes over that. That is so Bachelor Pad Economics is here's what a 401k is. And this is why you should major in this and not that. And this is the power of compound mathematics. And here's how a loan works. And here's how the mortgage works. Achieving Financial Excellence answers the why should you be doing these things. Do you actually have the motivation and understanding why you're doing that? And then finally, I'm not saying you have to become an accountant, but if the idea of working remotely and being self-employed, you're the stay-at-home mom, but you're working on accounting, you got your little office desk there, you don't have to commute. If that appeals to you, maybe you might want to look into accounting. And so me and my buddy Chad, who's a CPA, we put together a course called The World's Greatest Accounting Career that is also available on Teachable. So if you search The World's Greatest Accounting Career, Teachable, you'll find my Teachable website. And I offer that course, among others. The previous one I mentioned, though, Achieving Financial Excellence, is also listed there. And that's it. That's how you can be a stay-at-home mom. The biggest hurdle of which is to ask yourself the honest question. Do I want to be the miserable, pissed off girl boss, debt-ridden, worthless degree, always looking for money because I ain't got none and I have to put my mimosas on credit card? Or do you want to fall in love with a man and have children? There's no wrong answer. So what do you personally want? But if you know what you want, you have to make your decisions now when you're young, because ain't no rich, wealthy man going to go marry some 36-year-old girl boss with some other guy's kids and debt and a fucking liability on every front. Meanwhile, here's this nice to be her 24-year-old girl who's cute, and she has her degree in welding. Would be okay, but let's just go with it. And she has a tidy little sum saved up, and she's just cute as a button. Gee, I wonder which one they're going to pick. By the way, just so you girls know, I know the boomer women and the Gen X women, especially millennial women, are all telling you you shouldn't want to raise your kids, right? Like, you are the most important thing ever in the history of the world, including I know they really make it seem like it's a horrible thing to raise your actual children, but maybe not. Maybe it's okay to stay at home and raise your kids. That's just me. I don't know. Let's go to the super chats and have ourselves a treat. Dre, $2. Divorce a rich man, then to marry a richer guy. You're not wrong from a truly mercenary perspective for a woman to make money. I'm talking to a very specific group of women who want to be moms. They want a family. And despite all the propaganda and the yelling and screaming from the miserable gray-haired people in this country, I think a lot of young women actually do want to have a good husband with some kids, and they want to stay home and raise them. I think there's some, not all, you're right, not all. A lot of them want to be in debt and have a lyric at 12.8%. And by all means, go ahead and do that. But for the women, look, society has a very clear and detailed map. It's even on Google Maps to the girl boss lifestyle, right? There's no confusion on how you get that. There is no map for young girls who are like, well, I want more of a traditional life. I am merely pointing out the basics, and you'd hang right at Albuquerque and you go up to Santa Fe, and then you inevitably get to housewife with kids. I'm just giving them the most direct route if that's what they want. I'm also giving them permission where it's like, yeah, you can do this. You could tell the rest of the miserable. But I just like pointing out, like, how happy the women that followed modern day feminist advice about girl bossing. Pringles can with veins, $2. But Cap, this Chad will stay when the last 8 did it. Yeah, I know. I know. You know Pringles. I know. Dre knows. We all know. But that's a different discussion. Cyberbully, $10. Have you ever spoken on architecture degrees? They are generally worthless. My best friend is an architect. And you need to get a doctorate. And there are only a few places you can go and work without one, Arizona being one. And it's overflooded. And there are a lot of tests and certification. No, just go become an engineer. Go become an engineer. My sister is one and she loves it and makes big bucks. Good. She made it, blending engineering and art. I'm in tech, but considering going into architecture. Tech nerd era is over. Yeah, I talked to her and find out how she did it. But and I won't lie, Cyber, I'm not trying to slam on your sister. I guarantee the skids were greased because she's a girl. So she must have gone to the right school, and she must be good too. I'm going to go with that. There is a lot of engineering and math that goes into it. But see if she recommends it. I mean, I know she loves it in big bucks, but ask her, well, is it worth going through all this stuff? Plains Warrior, $5. But my chakra crystals will help me manifest once my planets are in alignment according to my zodiac. What would be interesting is when do girls start believing that bullshit? I got to imagine it's in their 20s, not their late teens, early 20s. I think all you guys remember when there were girls in high school or out of high school, and they were, for lack of a better word, unspoiled. where they wanted that simple thing, like, I just want to get married and have kids. And meanwhile, we're like, how much is this tuition for this? How many women are not sleeping with me? Oh, you want to get married and have kids. Oh, that's nice. Well, you better go talk to some fucking 40-year-old with money. uh, yeah, I wonder if college does a number on them. I am talking a very precise niche of young women who don't believe in the chakras, who really want to just, no, I really do want to have kids. By the way, ladies, whether it's chakra crystals, the zodiac, or socialist politics, it's all bullshit. It's all religion. It's all not going to happen. You have to work for it. You are nowhere. Do good things just happen to you? Nowhere. Uber noob, $5. Cappy, I found out girls are buying and selling online astrology readings. What? A girl showed me one, and I figured out they just copy the free ones. Operation Evil. That is such a simple. They're buying and selling online astrology. Well, okay, I'm kind of confused. As probably you are. I go buy a reading. Now I own it. Like, is this like one of them image ETFs? Like it's the original image. This is the original astrology reading, and now I own it and I sell it to you. Is that what we're talking about? I remember you'd have your little astrology rolls at the grocery store checkout. Do you guys? They still got those? I don't know if they still got those. A girl showed me one, and I figured out they just copy the free ones. Operation Evil. Yeah, go make the money, man. Uber noob. If we could do astrology on the interwebs, and your prince will come. I go look, and to the young ladies. Do you think a real husband's going to want to have a liability like a woman who believes in astrology and just good things happen to me? I never have to get off my ass to do anything, or an industrious, mature adult who's like, no, I gotta go fix the car. Aquarius is not going to fix my car for me. I won't wake up and according to the Chinese cookie, a good thing will happen and the neighbor just shows up and fixes it. Magnum Opus, $5. How to get 89% of what you want as a woman. Treat your fellow well. Stop being a covert fembot, or you can work yourself into the grave. 89%? Why 89%? Nobody gets everything they want to understand, but 89%, that's pretty high. Mayra Smith, $5. I remember the looks I got when I told people I wanted to stay at home with kids. I'm Gen X 1980. Even my mother was disappointed. Yeah, there's definitely a big philosophical push, or what's the word I'm looking, a push against you girls, women being stay-at-home moms. And I think it's on two fronts. One, I think it's just the way we are programming people, not just women, people to think. We actively discriminate, shame, think less of women, young ladies who want to be stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home wives. So there's and that I think is squarely among the media, the K through college system. We're conditioned to be that way, or at least the women are. And then I think after a while, when your mom, as you provide for an example, Myra, and other women go and do the girl boss thing and career, and it's expensive, and there's challenges, and there's commute, and there's stress, and there's taxes, and then there's financial stress and debt, da da da, and then they see the woman who went the different path. I think, frankly, they're jealous and they're angry and they want to shame you and they want you to be as miserable as they are. I really think that. I don't just say it because it feels good. I say it's because it's true. Here's the happy little gal who got married at 23, stayed in shape. She's got the three little crumb crunchers and she takes care of that. And I think the other thing is that she's happy. Not that she's zippity doo dah. Kid's gonna puke. The other kid's gonna bash something. I mean, it's not. Yeah, you're gonna have to discipline your kids. There's gonna be problems. But there you are. You're working. See, they don't see that. They think you're just sitting there eating bonbons. No, not if you do it right. You're gonna be working, but then you're gonna have your family. You're gonna have a husband. I mean, if you stay in good shape, your husband's gonna, in general, be in good shape. We hope. It's a different discussion. And then they're miserable. The 36 and over women in America are angry and miserable that here's a young gal who's 26, has 2.1 kids, and the kids are healthy, and maybe they got a dog, and she just takes care of the house. And oh my God, she has people that love her when they get home. Meanwhile, every other 36 plus year old woman in America goes home to cats. And that's fine. You should have your career, ladies. I would stop ruining and getting upset about the opportunity cost of what you gave up. Be rejoiceful. Enjoy your mimosas. Hang out with your besties. Go travel. Get dicked down by foreign men of various swarthy complexions. Go to nightclubs. Hang out on boats. You know, the gal who has the kids like, oh, I'd like to hang out on a boat. You know, there no choice has no opportunity cost. But I do believe it's deep down inside a lot of women wanted that too. Well, that's too bad. You got this instead. You have $80,000. You could get a Lyric or you could get a F-150. If you buy the F-150, stop ruining. You don't have the Lyric. If you got the Lyric, stop ruining. You don't have the F-150. Magnum Opus. 10 generous. Oh, by the way, Mara, thanks for taking care of your kids. Thanks for being a good mom. Magnum Opus, 10 generous dollars. All good advice, Cappy. The only issue is that you're a white guy trying to help modern women. The message has to come from a woman. Even then, it's a hard pill for them to swallow. I don't care. See, all my obligation is to state what is facts and true. And there will be some young gals who tune into this and they'll say, oh, okay, this is different. They may not agree with me or fully believe me, but as time goes on, they'll like start to realize like, wow, there are a lot of pissed off, angry, miserable 36 plus year old women in America. Maybe I should go be a nice, happy stay-at-home wife. And then they'll live a good life and that'll be good. But yeah, you're right. The majority of them aren't going to listen. That's their problem. Look, do you think I care that still to this day, 85% of women who go to college major in dumb shit? I've said my piece. I've tried to help them out. And 85% of women still, 60% of men still go and major in dumb shit and just cripple themselves financially for the rest of their lives with worthless degrees and the debt that comes with it. It's not my responsibility. My only responsibility is say, there's a cliff over there. If you are not careful, you go over it. And if they want to say, "Fuck you, fishes," fine, bye. Hazmat trucker, $5. My wife driving a 99 4Runner with 252,000 miles. That's hot, dude. Dude, you got a hot wife, man. Never seen about, she's hot. Homeschooling our kids, making sourdough bread are big reasons we could buy a house on my income alone. Nice. But ew, you're a trucker. Ew. That's another thing with the frat bros and the finance bros. They're all such skis and trying to scam. That's what bankers do. They don't want to work real jobs, so they always try to flip houses and I'm going to arbitrage this. They're low quality, unethical men in general. And they're the prettiest and they're the most partyingest because they take other people's money and they buy the shiniest. But then at the end of the day, yeah, that's the guy who's probably going to run off on you. That's the guy who does, oh, I'm sorry, babe. Dude, the number of times we had it were those finance bros back in the build up to the housing bubble where they all of a sudden couldn't make their payments. And then all the banks, not just one, but all the banks would go and repossess all their assets. And there's the trophy wife thinking she was the Barbie girl in the Barbie world. And like, yeah, sheriff says you're out. What do you mean? Like they had no clue they're posing finance, bro. I know, ladies, it's boring. He's not the drug dealer. He's not the boat owning finance bro. He's Mortimer Snerd, the good looking, though glasses wearing accountant. There's some good looking men who are tradesmen and accountants and engineers. You girls just got to go look for them. Magnum Opus, $2. Wait, let me make sure. 6 feet, 6 inches, but I only make 80K. I'm doomed. Are you that tall, Magnum? Uber Noob, $5. Cappy, some goofy girl sells readings and some other one will buy them. but it turns out the seller's just putting info into a free reading generator. Look, that is the laziest fucking shit I've ever heard. But God bless her for making money on it. If she can, if there's that many, I should do that. I should do that. I want to write a Harlequin romance novel, but I can write like a 2-sentence forecast on your astrology. You will find a swarthy 6'6" guy who makes more than $80,000 a year, and he'll be sensitive, but will throb you crazily in bed. Oh my God. All you just have to be you, dear. Follow your passion. Dre, $2. Cappy's so short to prey on women downfall. Cappy's too short to prey on women downfall. Pringles can with veins, $5. The sisterhood's new push is warning Gen Z against dating older men 40 plus because nobody wants 35 plus single moms. Why? Now the problem, let's be honest. The problem a lot of young ladies are going to find is men traditionally in their age range, they don't got the money. They've also been completely demoralized from chasing after girls. So a lot of these guys haven't hit gyms and they don't have a lot of money, and they're not all that professional. And I mean, what's a young, good-looking gal supposed to do, especially if she wants to have kids? You're going to have to you are going to have to date older, generally speaking, ladies, because you're not the 19-year-old guy. He just doesn't have the money, and though that doesn't mean you really like the 19-year-old guy. That doesn't mean you guys couldn't get together. But you're gonna have to contribute to the money too. Then maybe by 25 you save up the money. Okay, now we can have kids. But yeah, and ladies, you may have to date a 40-year-old. I know I have more money now than I did when I was 25. One of the main reasons I never wanted kids, I could barely afford to take care of myself. Now I guess, yes, maybe I could afford to have a kid. For most of my adult life, that was not a possibility. So yeah, you girls are going to have to find a guy who makes enough money to support a family. I mean, maybe you don't want to date the 40-year-old. Okay, well, find the 23-year-old who's an engineering major and stick with them. And yeah, that gets back to the 36 and older American women are going to be pissed off and naturally jealous of younger women better looking than them. It's just the standard old evil queen stepmom of the Disney movies. And they don't want you moving in on their rack and taking the 40-year-old men. But, if you find a 40-year-old guy, you like him, there you go. Magnum Opus, $5. Lois Lane, a reporter dreaming of more than Superman. I know these people aren't real, but like I said, a very narrow niche. There is no way to remove young women today of the brainwashing and indoctrination they're going to get from the media, other women, girly magazines or internet magazines, television, government, politics, education. There's no way. Here's an alternative. Here's Linux. Here's Plan B. I know the old miserable gray-haired people of America are telling you this is the only way and you're a bad person if you don't go this way, and this way is the route to happiness. And you look at all, not some, all of them, and it's like, then why are all of you so fucking miserable? So that's the only option they have. If you just say, hey, look how miserable they are, here's a different path you may want to consider. I'd even say without the kids and family, just not being a corpo slave. That, I guess, would be a third alternative that has nothing to do with kids or a husband for these young women. Ladies, like, let's say you don't want to get married. You don't want to be like that idea of being you're going to have to be a subservient housewife. I didn't like it. That's even too strong a word. The guy's going to have to lead. You're going to have to take care of kids. Let's say they don't want that. Well, that doesn't mean they have to now go be a corporate girl boss slave and be in debt. They could also be a minimalist. They could be a cool chickie babe doing van life and just hanging out, doing her own thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm just trying, I got to point out, look, it's on many things. That's why I have the Boomers Who Lied to You series. If you go to my video tab on YouTube, I'm doing a Boomers Who Lied to You series. when you look at these boomers, because it's the ninth inning. How many you've put as many points on the board as you're going to put up on the scoreboard of life. How many points did you put out? They got a negative score. It is painfully obvious the elders in our community do not know what they're talking about and should just shut the fuck up now. I'm trying to get younger people to realize the advice that they've given and still is given as the purveying wisdom of today is wrong. Unless your goal is to become a poor, miserable, thrice divorced boomer whose children won't talk to them. And so it's just an option for the young ladies and the men too. Dre, $2. How are women independent but brainwashed? Pick one. Everyone is brainwashed in this country, or at least heavily influenced, but especially the women. Especially the women. All right, there you guys go. Link to all my stuff below. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.